get started. So welcome to everybody who's just recently joined us. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And welcome to today's webinar, How to Brand Your Business Authentically in 2023. My name is Boops Chauhan. I'm one of the advisors here. I'll be co-hosting it, but obviously Nadya will be taking over and hosting the whole webinar for you as well. So just a little bit basically about who Wenta is and what we do here. If it's the first time you've joined us on a webinar and not heard of us, we've been around for 40 years now. We celebrate our 40th birthday this year, actually. We're a not-for-profit organization. We have 4 large sites based in Stevenage, Watford, Potters Bar and Enfield. And our core business is actually renting out office space. So that could be having hot desking, permanent desks to one-person offices just for your own self, or moving on to sort of full entire floor areas as well for your team and yourself and for your business as such. So we do this on short-term contracts, like 30 days basically. It includes lighting and heating as well. We have on-site parking at all our centers as well. And most centers have cafeterias as well, and obviously meeting rooms that you can actually use if you're a client of ours. So we have that. We have our actual virtual services as well. So if you're a business at home and you want to actually make sure, you don't want to show your business address to anybody, you can certainly rent one of our site addresses and obviously make yourself look as if you've got a normal office in an office block, as to say, which works well for websites as well and for search engines. Optimization as well, because you're putting a physical address in instead of hiding it as such. So we do that. You can rent an address. We've got call answering services as well. So if you're busy, you can certainly direct your calls down to us. We've got mailbox facilities, so we can take your small parcels and letters as well and pop them into a private mailbox where you can come and pick them up as and when you wish during opening hours. And obviously all the centers are security passworded, security pass, so basically nobody can just walk in. So it's pretty good and really nice atmosphere to be in one of these centers as such. Like I said, that brings in our core revenue. It's plugged back in because we're a not-for-profit organization. On top of all of this, there's about 5 advisors, including myself. We've all been self-employed at some stage or another, in businesses, and basically run our businesses. So we've got something that we can offer you, with regards to advice and how to basically conduct your business and how to set your business up and so on. So we're here to help you. You can have one-to-one sessions with us via phone, Zoom, or if you're nearby, even face-to-face. Just pre-book an appointment through our website and you'll be able to speak to an advisor for any of those channels as well. On top of this, we've got lots of webinars that we actually deploy, ranging from marketing, content marketing, websites, social media, Facebook, business planning, cash flows, pricing, and the list goes on. So we deploy all of those by the advisors. And every so often, or quite regularly actually, we have specialist advisors such as Nadya and her business basically come on to do specialist webinars for us. So do check out the training tab on our Wenta website, wenta.co.uk, where there's lots and lots of information about all these different webinars and services that we have to offer for you guys. So thank you again once again for coming on, and I'm going to pass it over to Nadya now, who will be actually hosting the webinar for you. Thank you very much. Have a great time. Thanks.
Thank you. Let me share the screen. One second while I share this screen. So hello everyone, my name is Nadya and I will be talking to you about what is your brand and how can you make it better for yourself and your business. So if you can confirm that you can see my slide, that would be great.
Yeah, all good, Nadya.
Yeah. Thank you. Right, so how to brand your business authentically, that's what we're going to speak today. That code that you see in the corner is for download a workbook and a checklist that you can use during or after the event. I will share the code again at the end. So that's good for you. Let's start. So can you tell me a bit who you are and what's your business? Because what I would like to do is during the presentation, maybe do some examples that can work for your business rather than just give an example of a business that maybe is not present. So that would be quite good. So if you put in the chat box who you are and what is your business, that would be great. Okay, thank you. Hannah is saying she's setting up a candy making business. That's very interesting. Do let me know all your businesses so we can do some examples for you. Right, so first thing is your brand may not be what you think it is. Why I'm saying this is because often when I speak with business owners, they say to me, I have my logo, so I already have done my brand. And I say, just because you have a logo doesn't mean that you have a brand. So let's see why I'm saying this. So when you think about your brand is very broad. So what I like to do is to kind of put it into buckets so it's easier to know what is part of your brand. So first area is your visuals and the second area is your interactions. So for example, you have your visuals, which is your logo, your stationery, your packaging. And not I say your logo is not your brand, but it's part of your brand. It's not just as its own, it's not your brand, but it's one part of your brand. So you go visuals, you go your brochures, your fonts, your colors, anything that you can see that represents your brand will go in that category. And then we go the second category, that is the interactions, which can be more like the communication. So this is like the way that you present to your customers and clients, the service that you provide, what people think about your business, like the way that you interact. Like say, for example, if you are like very friendly or is like more like a serious way that you speak to people, all that is part of your brand. Your packaging is part of your brand. And I know your packaging can be individuals too, but because it have an interaction with the client or customer, it also go in the category of interactions. Then you got your products. Obviously, people can interact with your products. Your content, very important. And when I'm talking about content, I'm talking all type of content. That can be video, writing, podcast, any type of content that you create for your business go in this category. And also your price, because your price communicates certain values about your products and services. So all these go as part of your brand. So let's have a look how many of you have say about your business, so then I can maybe do some examples. Okay, so Aaron is saying, I'm a qualified counselor. I'm trying to work through the idea of branding for creating an image of trust. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Aaron. William is saying investor planning to have a franchise. Thank you. Anastasia is a communication consultant, and I love working with small charities. Looking forward about branding, authentic branding. Thank you. We got Sam, medical device supplier for hospitals. That's great. Ali, a home care business. By the way, if I pronounce something bad, please apologize. Excuse me, because English is not my first language, but I'll do my best. Hannah is a candy business. Okay, so let's see what another we have. Pauline, service accommodation business. And Kelly, company and training to become a travel agent. Okay, so as you can see, there is a lot of type of business, and you all will have different needs. But what we're going to speak today, you definitely will have. It don't matter what your business is, because it's part of the foundations of how you create your brand. So as I was talking to you about the visuals and the interactions, they have something in common, and this is the brand values. So let's see what are the brand values. The brand values is like information that it represents your business. But say, for example, it goes beyond like what the service is. It's more about like what the business stands for. Like it's like the authenticity of your business. So say, for example, if you are a business that one of your values is happiness, right? You will expect that all this stuff, and when people interact with you, they have some certain happy vibe around them. Like packaging don't look boring, it will look happy. So everything will go in that same line because it aligns with our values. So for example, let's say that you are a counselor and one of your values is about giving people more what's the word like confidence, for example. So when you write your text, for example, it's not going to be in a negative tone, it's going to be more like in an encouraging tone. So what the values does is that it gives you, it's kind of like a compass. So it helps you to take decisions and make your brand stand out more, because as you have your values defined, then you can start to create all the pieces, and it all will be more consistent in between each other. So I'm going to show you more about it because it's a quite hard concept to understand, but it's very important. So normally, when you have a business and people interact with the business, you start to have an idea of what the brand is about. And this is part to do with the values. Most businesses have the values of the business owner because it gets kind of like passed around. So, but as the businesses start to grow and have like employees and that, then is when it becomes a bit more hard to pass the values and continue that brand. Because as says one person business, is quite easier to stick to your values because they are very close to you. But as you have more people, you have to train people into what the values are of the brand, so they also can deliver to your clients and customers. So the idea of these values have to be present in all your communications. And I have a question, because normally when I talk about branding, people say to me like, when should I brand and when should I rebrand? So let's see, what is rebranding? So rebrand is readjust the perception and positioning of a brand. So branding is to create that perception and positioning. So that perception is made every day with the interactions and the visuals that you position in front of the people. But when you rebrand, the idea of rebrand comes from you trying to readjust this or to change the perception that once was in there, but now you want to change. So see, for example, you want to rebrand. If you don't have a brand, let's say you are a new business, you need to have a brand. You want to differentiate, because obviously you can have just that have a business and do your services and that, but you don't have created intentionally a brand, like saying this is how we're going to represent ourselves, that's the way that we do the business, that is something that is going to differentiate you. Then when you want to be recognized more easy, so for example, when people create logos and that, is because it's a visual representation of your business, so it helps you to recognize. The another reason why you want to brand is because you want to have alignment with your products and services. So let's say, for example, if you go certain 5 services or 5 products and all go under the same brand. And because it adds professionalism. So for example, when I think someone was saying that is trying to work in the image of trust as a counselor. So that is a good idea why to brand, because it adds more professionalism, and as you brand yourself and maintain the consistency, it gives trust to people, so people feel more confident to buy from you. And in terms of rebrand, I would say when you already have a brand, but you no longer feel it represents your business, or it don't longer align with where your business is going to go. So let's say, for example, you started doing one type of business, and now your business is going to pivot maybe into another area or a different target audience. So maybe you want to rebrand because you want to reposition the image of that people have about your business into a different one. Another way why you want to rebrand is maybe you had your business and now someone else have a business and you decided to do business together. So you're going to merge. So you need to have a new brand that represents both. So that's a good idea for rebranding. Also, if you have a business but it's not differentiate you from others, it's a good idea to rebrand. When your business model have changed, as I just explained, let's say if you have a brand and there is a lot of negativity associated with the brand, that's why, like, for example, big businesses with all the students see that they change into another brand when they have a lot of negativity associated to the brand. That's a good option because it's kind of like starting again the trust factor into your brand. Also, when it's hard for the people that are service-based, when it's very hard to command higher prices, or if you have products that people don't want to pay the price that you feel that is the value of the product, then I will advise most likely to rebrand, because when people don't want to pay what you are asking on price is because they don't see the value of your product or service. And part of seeing the value of the product or service is how you are positioning that in the mind of the customer. So that's part of branding. And also for connects for a different audience. So far, I have talked to you about like brand and rebrand. So hope that is quite clear when you want to do one or the another. If you have any questions, please just put it in the question and answers box, so then I can go through them. That would be good too. So a very important part of when you are branding is to know who your client or audience is. And normally, because I work with a lot of business owners, when I ask to them, because normally they say to me, okay, so I would like to do some marketing for my business because I want to get more clients. And I always ask to them, okay, so who is your client? Who are you trying to reach? And normally they come up with something like this, like a woman or a man, age 27, 35, London networks, middle class. And that's as far as they go. So what is hard to do with this is because if you see these two ladies, so they both go into that category of what the person said to me. So say, for example, age 27, 35, London networks, middle class. So both ticks the box. But when you go into their lives and think what they do, it looks very different. So how comes that both will be the target audience? Of course, they can be your target audience, but my point is that if it's more specific, it's easier for you to target this audience and to communicate with them. Because when you know better your type of client, customer, you can understand their problems and how your business aligns with them, and in what stages they will be looking for your business. So there is a thing that I would like to do, which is strategic thinking, and it's about being more empathetic with your customer and client. I do normally this exercise with my clients, which is an empathy map canvas. This exercise, what it helps a business is to put themselves in the shoes of the customer rather than they just think like as a business owner, because as a business owner, you see your business from one perspective. But this exercise, it helps to see in a different perspective, which is like from the point of view of your clients or customers. So you start to think like them. So what do they see? What they say, what they do, what type of problems they have. So say, for example, the footwear company, right? So what type of shoes they are looking for? Is this like for comfort? Is this for fashion? What type of a problem you are solving? Because it's not just about the product, but also about what a deep level you are solving with that product. So say, for example, it could be a shoe, but it's not necessarily just about the shoe. It may be about me feeling better by having a new shoes that it match and combines with my clothes, and that make me feel happier, and that's why I buy it. So you have to understand what are the reasons behind of why people is buying your product, what they need. And also, when I say what they say, what they see and what they say, you can also think like, okay, what is in the group, or like what is in the day-to-day happening that it comes to them like more easily. So say, for example, if a friend of them recommend your product or service, it's more likely that they're going to buy it. So where are their friends? What the friends are seeing? Are they going any events? Are they going, what's the whole day? What they doing the whole day? So when you start to think about that, a lot of ideas will come up of how you can market to them, how you can position your brand in their eyes, because it's not about you to be everywhere, but about you to be everywhere where your ideal client is. So that's a quite different idea, that rather than just be everywhere, just be where they are. So that should help you. Okay, so Aaron is asking, what words or phrases may I use to show my services worth the invest of could be significant costly for them? People see value in physical health like gyms, etc., but don't see the value on psychological well-being. Okay, so what happens is when you first, people need to understand and see the value of it, because if people don't see the value, it's no way that they're going to buy it. So if you were to do an exercise and see like when people need your type of service, is there a period of their life when they're more likely to buy from you? From the clients that you already had, you maybe can start to see patterns in there. Say, for example, is that maybe around midlife, when they are more interested in the psychological well-being, because maybe they can afford, or maybe because they're more aware of it. So you start to think like where in their life your business will fit with them. So in that way, you can start to see in what areas you can start to help them. And the second thing about seeing the value, you have to show your expertise. So I will say you have to create a lot of different content that can address their needs, their hopes, and their desires. So for example, you can do like a webinar similar to what I am doing now, but talking about what is their desire. So say, for example, if their desire is to have more freedom in their life, you talk about more freedom in the life, and then by utilizing your services. I hope that makes sense, but it's kind of like showing what the service is before they're buying it, because they need to understand that you can help them before they can invest on it. So that's the tricky part, because unless that they try it, they will not know how good it is. So your job is to show them in many ways how that service can actually help them in a specific. And this is why it's very important to know who is the person you want to reach to, because one of the factors you want is that the person be able to afford it. at the price that you want, of course. So going back with your question, Aaron, in here I got a few steps that every customer or client come all the time. So say, for example, they first have to be aware that you exist. So say awareness is all that you do that can come across in the mind or visual or anything that, like say, for example, if you do a blog post, that's awareness. If you do a video, that's awareness. If you post on social media, that's awareness. So all that will make people know that you exist, right? So that's a step one. People have to know that you exist. Second is that you have to become familiar to people. So that means that by you doing this consistently, people start to know, okay, this person does this because you have become familiar to them. You are not like a random person that do it. They already know that you do this thing. And the third thing is when they start to consider. So say, for example, okay, I know that you do this thing. Now, can you help me? So when I start to consider, can I work with this person? So that this is the steps people always have. And this is no matter if it's a product or a service, people need to know that you exist. People need to know that, okay, where it is, and then consider that if they want the product or service or not, if this is going to be a good fit for them. So if they are convinced that you can help them, of course, they will buy from you. And once they buy from you, normally people just think, okay, that's done because I finished and I sold them something. But it's don't finish in there, because when someone buys from you, it can happen two things. One, they don't like the product or service, or they become a fan of yours. And if they become a fan, that's the great thing, because if they really enjoy your product and service and it really matches the expectations that they had during the consideration stage, that means that they will refer you and they will tell all the friends and family how great you are, how great your product or service is, and that's what you want. And then it just go again the circle, because when they refer to a friend or a family member, they become aware that you exist, then you become familiar, and then they consider. But this process will go really fast because you already have the trust that a friend or family have recommended them. So does this make sense? Do let me know in the chat, so I know that you all are in the same page with me. I saw another question. Okay, Hania, do you need to have a logo? Can you just have the name of the company? Yes, actually, there is a lot of different type of logo. So logo really is like a visual representation. So for example, you can have the name of your company written in a specific type of font, and that would be visually your logo because it's a visual representation of it. So there is a word called logo type, which logo is just like a shape and type is like the writing of the name. So say, for example, if you see in the corner on my presentation in there, I got my logo. So that's my logo type. So logo is the N, and type, it will be the writing next to it. So you could have just a writing and that will become your logo type, because the whole shape of it and the specific fonts you use for writing can become recognized. So you can have a writing, but it have to be in a specific text. So say, for example, because there's different type of fonts, you could have like a font that is very serious. You can have a font that is more classic. You can have a font that is more elegant. You can have a font that is more funky. So it is not as just writing with any font. It's how you want to convey your business in the way that is represent. So hope that helps you. What is my main business? So my business, we do two things. So I would say we empower and help businesses to become more, what's this word? I forget this word at the moment. Yes, to become more authentic and get more visibility. And we do this by using different different areas. Let's say, for example, one is branding. As I say, when we talk about branding, it's very broad. We do web too, and we also do a lot of consultancy, because what we have found is a lot of clients and businesses, they know certain things that they should be doing, but in the moment, they are not doing it. And if they're doing it, they're not doing it consistently. So we help them in that area to kind of maintaining the consistency. So we help them, like, if working with them for months and months, so they can keep maintaining their business and brand like that. But not only in the area of branding, but also in the area of business, because we kind of combine business and brand, because your brand cannot just be separate from your business, it's part of your business. So when you think about like how your brand is aligned with your clients, so ask yourself, what is my business doing for my clients? So let's say, for example, in my business, we help people to define the ideal client. We help them with the products and services become more attractive. We help them to maintain their brands, and we help them to charge more. So let's say if your business is coaching, you maybe are helping women to feel more confident, more empowered, more comfortable. Of course, you're probably helping with a lot of key issues that they have, but maybe for them, like the result that they will have after doing a business with you, it will be that they feel more confident, more empowered, more comfortable. And say, for example, if your business were hiking, you can have been inspiring people to live their own way, embrace adventure, create unique memories. So it's all about like going beyond what the actual thing is. So say, because for example, with this hiking business, it could be just like about the shoes for hiking, but it's not just the shoe of hiking, it's what the shoe of hiking is enable you to do in your life. So it's just helping you to embrace adventure, to you become more adventurous, to have more memories. So when you start to see it from this point of view, you start to see how your brand can really have an impact of people in people's life, and it becomes quite fun and really with a lot of energy to actually give to people what they need from your brand. So by having empathy, obviously with your clients and your customers, you can create a better connection with them, because then there are not just another customer or another client, there is someone that you actually get to know really well. And obviously we want to know how to define your authentic brand. So ask yourself what your business stands for and is not willing to compromise. Is there something your business is not willing to compromise? To say, maybe Pauline, would you have the service of accommodation business? Is there something that you're not willing to compromise? So when I'm talking about compromise, it's because when you have values, you have things that you don't compromise because it go against of your values. So it's very easy to understand. So say, for example, Pauline say, is not willing to compromise in standards. Okay, so then your business is stand up for certain values, and one of that is to meet standards. So that's something that you're not willing to compromise. So for example, my business stands for honesty, integrity, and collaboration. So what that means in terms of how that applies in a business, because this is quite hard. Sometimes when I say to people what your business stands for, and they think, okay, but what does have to do with my business? How can I integrate that? So the way that you integrate is, for example, honesty. it means that if some business owner comes to me and we have a consultation and there is something that I know is not working for them, but they feel really excited about it, but I'm not really, it's not going to work for them because of my experience or because I have seen it or because I know certain aspects why it was not going to work. I have to be honest and I have to have the integrity to say to them. And it may not be the easiest part, it may not be the most glamorous part of the business, but it's part of what my business stands for. So I have to find a way to be honest and say to the person, okay, this don't work because of this, this, and this. And maybe have a discussion about that because it's about collaboration. It's not just about like what I think, because at the end of the day, it's their business too. So it's a collaboration. So you see what I mean? Like how these values and the way that you do business really, really integrate with everything that you do. So for example, in terms of collaboration, my business stands for collaboration. So that means that I collaborate with other people. Like for example, today I'm collaborating with Wenta for this webinar. So it's part of how the business works like. So integrity, that means that there is certain type of business that I have decided I'm not going to work with because they go against my values. And that go part of my integrity of there is certain things that my business never will do. So when you start to see these values and what your business stands for, it's very easy to take decisions because when something don't align with that, you can say just straight away no, or you can say a really big fat yes because it aligns perfectly with your business. And this goes well, really, really well also when you start to do your marketing because it serves you like a compass of what to do and what not to. So let's see in the second example, as I was saying about the coaching and that. So your values can be confidence, power, and unity. And maybe it's about you showing, you showing to people with confidence, coming up with confidence to them. Power, bringing back power to people, how people can become more powerful. Maybe the opposite of this, it will not really fit with your business. And unity is not about like having people on their own separate. Maybe it's more about creating communities or maybe about creating groups. So, you know, it's just like trying to see how your values, you can apply it into your business. So that's why I'm giving like various examples. So then you can see that even if a business is very different from another, you still can apply your values. So for example, in the example I was saying about the hiking, the values can be risk, adventure, and passion. And now let me ask you, let's say I get the newsletter of this product of hiking, and one of the values is adventure. Do you think I will see people just sitting there in a sofa in their house? Obviously not, because that will not show adventure. So the image I expect to see, the photography, it will be more in action. It will be more people doing things, taking risk. So as you can see, it's not only help you in the way that you act as a business, but also help you with your visuals and how you represent yourself. How you brand a business in an oversaturated market. So you have to find what is different from this business and how you're going to demonstrate that in a way that is relevant and important for the people you want to reach to. So for example, I work with an accountant. This obviously, like if you go to a networking event and just say what you do, and like 3 people say I'm an accountant, I can help you with your VAT and tax and all this. And you never know what it makes different one from the other. It is really hard to know which one you want to work with. But really, if you started to see from the point of view of a business owner, of a small business owner, you start to think, okay, as a business owner, I like someone that helped me with this area, but I don't want to feel stupid when I ask a question. I want someone that answer them in a way that it helps me to understand. that don't give me a lot of words that I don't understand, that just make it simple for me. So it's easier it makes my life easier. I want someone that understands. I want someone that helps me without me be asking things. So maybe someone that be there and tell me, you know what, we can do now this saving for your business, because I don't know about that, but they know. So I want someone that be proactive. So when you start to see it from the point of view of the possible customer or client, then things totally change. So what about if this accountant comes in the same networking event and say, hi, my name is whatever, and I am a friendly accountant, and my specialist is doing that and that, and I do it in a friendly way, and I am like very approachable. It just says the right words to you, because it's just totally different, because it says that it's a friendly, it's approachable. So, you know, and I can go on and on more like doing actually the value proposition. But it's just like a little example of telling you, like, there is a difference between you be the friendly accountant versus just be the accountant. So because you're showing something else that it may be in interest for me, because if I want a friendly accountant, I may go for that one rather than just any accountant, because they may do similar services, but to me, having someone friendly is more valuable for me. So hope that helps you. Right, so why I was talking to you about values so much is because values create a connection between the people and your brand. So it just stops to just be just a brand, because you have created a connection with them. So for example, you like certain brand because you buy from them, you relate to their values, or sometimes because you aspire to their values. And that's why you see so many people buy like really expensive watches or like handbags, because it resonates with them. It makes them feel something. So that is go beyond what the price of the actual product is actually generating other benefits in the life of the person. And that's why I say to you, just really have the time of thinking what your business is doing for this person. So how can you build your business brand? The easiest way that I have found over the years working with people is to think about your brand like a person. Because, you know, a person got their values, got their looks and everything. So if I were to say to you just now, imagine your brand walks in your room, how that will look like. Will it be young? Will it be old? Will it be glamorous? Will it be serious? What type of person will be? How it looks like? You know, and I think this type of exercise really, really helps you because you can visualize it. When you think about a person, it's really easy to see your brand. And then in base of that, you can start to create your brand. So for give you an example, what can you say about one of these people? See, like for example, second lady, first man, it looks what it looks like. It looks very different to the lady next to him. And the one after it, which is more young, more fun. You know, there is another man down there that looks like more wise, or there is a child there, or there is someone more young. What type of person will be your brand? Because when you start to think about that, then it will be easier for you to have a tone of how your brand will look like, because it's very different. Sometimes it's very hard to think about our brand because we don't find like what make it different. But when you think about as a person, it's very easy. It becomes easier because no person is the same as another. Yes, Hannah said they are unique. So yes, and brands are unique too. So that will help you to thinking about your brand as a person. And the second thing is about, once you think about your brand as a person, think about what type of personality you have. Is exciting, is sophisticated, is more glamorous, what type of personality it have. And I have added here some examples of type of brand that can be young, can be cool, can be more like original, more sentimental, more friendly, more happy. So combining all these aspects is going to help you to define what your brand is. So normally, let's say we see a person the first time, and then you make assumptions of how this person may be. And so the same is with your brand. The first time person interact and see your brand, they will just make assumptions. So your job is to make that this assumption is be the more close to what your brand really is. Because when you start to interact with someone, you see the way that they speak, they behave, how they stand, what they stand for, like the things that they do, their values. So it's exactly the same with the brands. So when you think about your brand, think about like what type of person it is, because that really, really will help you. And my last point of today is how you maintain and grow your brand. Because obviously once you start to create it, you don't stop it there. It's like a baby. As I said to you, it's like a person. It keeps continue growing. It's not like you just stop to grow one day. You have to maintain it. You know, as us, like a person, you have to brush your hair, do, you know, cleaning every day. So your brand also need the same things. So you maintain your brand, utilize your values and personality in all your communications, because that is going to make it very different to another brand. And for example, in the newsletter, what type of images and words will you use? And most importantly, what type of images and words will you not use? Because when you start to work with other people, let's say you go a VA that is helping you with your social media and that, it would be good if you give them a list of things that words that you never will use, or things that you never want to be associated with, because that's part of your brand too. It's not only the things that you will use, but also the things that you not. So that will make it really easy for you. So utilizing your brand values that I explained before, your personality, and staying consistently will impact your brand growth. So what that will do is, because people seeing you constantly, you're doing the same things and in different ways, but it still is you, that will give you more credibility. It will give trust to people. It will want to make them work with you. It will feel more close to you, not just like any brand. It just feels like a close brand. It obviously will help you to differentiate from other brands. It will attract people, and that's not only clients, but also new employees, customers, and people that want to do also collaborations with your business, and of course, new clients. It also becomes very easy to refer. So for example, you can say, you know, in the example I was saying of the accountant, I will pass you the number of the friendly accountant, because it's easier to refer. So when you have developed your brand, it will be more easy to refer to someone, because the person will be very specific about saying something about you, of what the experience was working with you. And most importantly, too, your clients and customers will stay longer with you. And the reason of this is because you already have set up the expectations, so they know that you will deliver in these expectations. So they have the trust that they can relax, that they know what to expect, and that's how it's going to happen, so they can stay longer with you. So you have your brand elements, you have your values, your personality, and you do it with consistency. That will give you an authentic brand. Do you have any questions before we finish? And as I said in the beginning, I have created a workbook and a checklist, so you can download it by going to this link or to scan the code. Let me paste the link in the chat, so then you can download in there. Basically, what I have done in regards of the workbook is having some areas that you can fill up, like for example, values, like what values your brand is, what it stands for and what is not. So, you know, like points that we have spoke today. So then you can start to develop your brand. And also at the end, I have added a checklist. So then you can start to tick the boxes after you start building your brand. So then you will see what areas you still need to work. And there is like 5 different areas that I have listed there. So that would be quite helpful for you in building your brand. And I drop in the chat box the links for you download this, and also I'll put my link in if you want to connect in there, or if you want to email me too. So yes, if you have any questions, I will be here for a couple minutes more so we can see them. And that would be all for today. Unless you have any questions, we can go to that.
Great, excellent. Thank you so much, Nadia. That's been really, really brilliant as usual and informative. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the webinar today and obviously picked up some tips and obviously hints from Nadia as well with regards to branding your business and so on, which is so essential these days. Because it differentiates you from your competition totally, and how people can actually recognize you instantly with your branding on purchasing more products and services from yourself. Obviously, Nadia's shared the links on there for her LinkedIn page, as well as a special, offer that she's going on, etc. So do basically, reach out to her for tips or anything else kind of stuff. I'm sure she'll be able to fit you in somewhere in her busy schedules at times kind of stuff. So, do reach out to her. But thank you so much. If you've got any questions, we've just got a few more minutes left. If you've got any questions, do pop them into the chat box. If not, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And do look out for all the other webinars we do. Hosted by the advisors or by the external partners. Nadia comes on every so often with us. So thank you very much, Nadia, for keep coming on to with us for these expert webinars. Really appreciate that. But yeah, if you've got any questions, just pop them through shortly. Obviously, we've got a few minutes left. If not, thank you very much and have a brilliant weekend, everyone. Enjoy yourselves and stay safe. Thank you.
Bye. Well, since I don't see any questions, I think I will leave now and hope you have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, Nadia. Bye.